Y'all already know what it is. Jay Williams, Let's Live Life, and we're back. You can learn a lot from a lifer. A man that sacrificed everything. A man that's never going home. I dealt with a lot of lifers while locked up. People ask me sometimes why I don't have people on. A lot of these people you can't have on. A lot of these people are never coming home. These men are there to stay. So today we're going to get into some of the stories on why some of the guys I rocked with are currently incarcerated. Some of the advice they gave me along the way that I use to this day. Y'all know I done seen it. Y'all know I done lived it. So let's relive it. Now, in doing this video, I had to put a lot of thought into which guys I wanted to speak on. Met a lot of lifers. I know a lot of lifers. Guys that will leave the Department of Corrections when their body is room temperature on a slab and zipped up in a bag. No chance of leaving before then. Bunch of different guys came to mind, but I tried to think of guys that, I could actually see free in the world and decided to tell their stories. I met Big T, and the first story is on Big T. I met Big T in 2006 in 7 Building. Big T was a big dude, maybe 6'2", 240, average shape. He wasn't in the greatest shape. He wasn't no weightlifter. He was just a naturally big guy. T was a store box man. T had his hands in a little bit of everything, and T taught me a very valuable lesson, and that's everything ain't for everybody. I became friends with T, and I dealt with T for a lot of years, and he eventually got in trouble for selling drugs, and come to find out, T had been the plug for many, many, many years, and even through all the time that I dealt with him, he never once told me he was the plug. He never once told me he was one of the main gateways for the drugs that were coming in and the drugs that were being sold. Because them guys don't need no glory. They don't need to be the man. They don't want to be known as the man. They don't want their name buzzing in the prison because they want to just do their time, fly below the radar, make some money on the side to send home to take care of their families. And that's what I found out in the long run T had been doing, amongst many things. T had a homeboy, Nate. I'm going to tell Nate's story next, but I'm going to tell T's first. T told me he lived out Richmond. This is 90, 91. He said crack was booming. Crack was a big, big thing. He said, I was that dude when it came to the crack. He said, I was the guy that would get to work, and then I would break it up and give it to different guys. They would go sell it and bring me back my stuff. He's like, so I didn't really interact with the guys that were smoking it that much. I more or less interacted with the dope boys. I gave it to the dope boys. They go grind on the block, whatever they were going to do. And then it was time to re-up. They bring me my money. I break them off some more. And that's how things went. So T says that he had these two guys. Well, there was one guy he dealt with, and the other guy was his homeboy. It was really close. They was always together. He said he gives the guy the pack. He gives the guy, a big chunk of crack one time. Tells him, when you're done with this, he said, and I dealt with this dude a bunch of times, man. He said, I told him, when you're done with this, just like always, come re-up. Come get some more. Said dude hits him up 2 days later, talking about it was short. It's like 4 or 5 grams missing out of it. And T said it wasn't short. He said, I don't know if his homeboy went in it, or he left it laying around or somebody went in it, but it wasn't short when I gave it to him. So they get to arguing, and T tells him, you better have my money. It wasn't short. Stop trying to run games on me. You run games, there's going to be problems. Rather than this dude realize that T was probably right. He's got plenty of crack. Why would he be, pressed to try to rip you off for 4 or 5 grams? That don't make sense. And if it was short, T would have straightened it. But T weighed everything himself, bagged everything himself, so he knew what he gave the dude was straight. This dude gets on some, I'm a buck type shit. Like, nah, I'm not paying for it. It ain't straight. So it goes from them talking about that to this dude starting to make threats. I'll run up in your house. I'll bring my goons through. We'll lay you down, take all that. And T said, I don't know if the boy was drunk. I don't know what was wrong with him. He said, they all knew how I got down. My name was heavy in the streets when it came to, if I had to deal with something, I dealt with it. He said, I'm at my house one night, and it's late night, like after midnight. He said, and I hear a car pull up, and I look out the window, and sure enough, dude is in the car. He's got his homeboy in the passenger seat, and there's somebody in the back seat of the car. T said he's like peeking out the blinds from the upstairs in the apartment, downstairs at them, and he sees the dude in the back of the car get out. He said there's a big street lamp, like street post right there with the light. He can see the dude in the back has got a gun. He can see that when the back door opened, it illuminated the inside of the car. The two dudes sitting in the front of the car had a gun. Both of them had guns. So he said he wasn't going to wait for them to come into his house. He had family and other people at the house that, he cared about. He said, I wasn't going to wait for him to come in the house. So I grabbed the pump shotgun and Mossberg 500. He said, I went outside. He said, I went out the back door. And as I was going out the back door, the one dude that was in the back seat of the car had crept up to the front door. And the other two, he was standing by the front door, and the other two dudes were still sitting in the car doing something. I don't know if they were loading guns or smoking a blunt or talking, what was going on. He said he didn't even see, he didn't see that by the time he had come out the back door, the guy that was at the back of the car made his way to the front door. He said he didn't see him initially. He just could see the interior light on in the car. He said when people show up to your house with guns, at least back in the 90s, they weren't for show. If people came with guns, it was a good chance you were going to die. They weren't just there to, take some pictures for Instagram or, get their name buzzing in the streets. These dudes were really there to come up in there. And as he knows, there's no way they can leave him around, let him live, because he's going to come back on them. He said, Jay, I didn't even put much thought into it. He said, I walked up. He said, I crept beside the fence line of my neighbor's house, cut through that driveway and across to mine. He said, I walked up on the passenger side window of the car, and when the boy seen me that was in the passenger seat, said he had a gun in his lap. Said he looked up and saw him, and he just leaned, picked the gun up and aimed it at him. He said when he did, I lifted the shotgun, put it to the car window and squeezed. So I took the whole side of that boy's face off. He said the driver, some of the pellets hit him in the shoulder and the neck. Said he started fumbling, trying to get the door open. He said, so I cocked the gun again, aimed it through the window I just blown out. Boom. I killed the driver. He said, that's when I realized the dude on the front porch was on the front porch. And I don't think this dude was really ready for what they had rolled up on, because instead of the boy shooting at T, the boy jumped the side of the porch rail and tried to take off through the neighbor's yard. And T said he shot, hit him in the back, hit him in his thigh, thought he had killed him. Wouldn't be long. He said, you call the cops, man, it might take them 20 minutes to show up. But when somebody calls and says that somebody's shooting or somebody's been shot, they're there in minutes. So this dude that he shot in the leg in the back, T said he ran back around the back of the house, hid the gun in the woods, went back in the house, turned all the lights off and stuff, and was going to play it off like somebody had came into his yard and this had happened. He didn't know what happened. Well, the boy that he shot twice ended up making it to the neighbor's house, beating on the neighbor's doors, yelling for help and stuff. Neighbors called the police, and the young man identified T as the one that shot him and killed both the boys sitting in the car. T would go on to get, life, no parole, plus like 80-some year sentence on top of his life. That's life plus 80, whatever he got. And he would never, ever have the opportunity to see the streets again. His kids were young. And I know what you're thinking. These are the consequences of our actions. And you're absolutely right. 100% you're right. If you want to be a drug dealer, you want to be a man in the streets, you want to deal with this and deal with that, then just be prepared and ready for what comes with it. A lot of times there's no happy ending. A lot of dudes sell drugs and that's just what they do. And then there's guys like T that run into situations where it's no longer just about getting money. It's about survival. These young boys knew how he got down. That's why they came 3 deep. But the problem was they were sitting in this car all faded, drinking, smoking, probably messed up on, who knows what. And they got caught, lacking. T laid them both down. The third boy survived. Supposed to be a killer. Was there to kill T. There to run up in T's house and tie his family up and take everything and kill T. The boy ultimately testified against Big T at trial and got him all his time. T used to tell me, he said, if I could do it all over again, Jay, I'd do everything different. He said, I would have got out there, I would have worked. I'd have got up like everybody else in America and went to work every morning and came home. He said, at this point in the game, I don't even know what I would have done, but I know I wouldn't have been a drug dealer. He said, but now I don't get the option of ever leaving up out of here and going home. You have the option to go home and do right, and I hope I don't see you back in here. He said, but if you do, I'll still be here. I'll still be working my same little dumbass job. I'll just grow older, and this is where I'll be. I like T to say the most, man. T was a good dude, a solid dude. He didn't see color. Only color he really saw was green. He was still about his money. Me and T got close off a situation that took place. Now, remember I told y'all about Grandma, right? The old gay guy. Well, Grandma had a cellie named Bubba. And Bubba wore these glasses with these round lenses that were pink, like John Lennon's glasses, right? Kind of a fat dude, chain smoked cigarettes all the time, had the dirtiest teeth, man. Like, for real, he had some Walking Dead teeth in his mouth. Like some old Abraham Lincoln wooden denture looking teeth, right? So T sends Grandma down a pair of jeans that he had that had a rip on the front of them that he wanted Grandma to sew the seam up, like wherever it's ripped at, he wanted him to fix it and put a patch on these Levi's, right? Like one of his favorite pair of jeans. He had left some money. I know you're going to say money. Yes, there is money in prison. You can get your hands on money one way or another. And cash rules everything. If you got cash, you can get next to double what the average man would get. If he was buying something for somebody with commissary, that cash will get you double. That cash you can use to pay off a guard or buy things that guys really don't want to sell. That cash can be sent home as you stack it to pay bills. So cash money, like I said, it rules everything in there. Well, he sends these jeans down to Grandma to get sewed up. And Grandma finds $100 bill in the pants pockets. Folded up real tight, put in a little watch pocket, and pulls it out, and Bubba snatches it from Grandma. Tells Grandma, you better not say nothing, don't say nothing, don't say nothing, right? Grandma finishes the jeans, sends them back up to T. T pays him, I think, a couple packs of cookies for the sewing he did. And then I see T down at Grandma's cell asking him, like, where's the money that was in the pockets? Well, Grandma's not no grimy dude. Bubba is a grimy ass dude. Bubba will steal from you. Bubba will lie to you. There's no honor when it comes to Bubba, right? So Grandma tells him, I don't know anything. And Grandma's an old man. And he looks at Bubba and he's like, Bubba, you know anything about the money that come up missing out of my jeans? Oh, nah, I don't know nothing. T's not stupid. He knows that if Grandma had the money, he would give it back to him. This is an old convict. Grandma's been down a long time. He ain't gonna lie about the money. If he had it in his possession, he would give it back to T. But at the same time, with Bubba having it, he can't just be like, hey, Bubba's got it. Because now he just told on Bubba. Him and Bubba are cellmates. I don't know if they had a love thing going on or what, but he wouldn't tell on Bubba, so he just played stupid to the situation, right? This all leads somewhere. This leads to how me and T got tight. Bubba comes over to my cell one day, and it's like, let me holler at you. I'm like, all right, here we go with the fuckery, right? I'm like, what's up, man? He's like, you can't say nothing to nobody. I said, all right, what's up? He was like, I got this $100 bill I'm trying to get rid of, but it's kind of hot right now, and I can't really move it. So do you have a need, you know what I mean, any need for the 100? And I was like, yeah, I got you. What's up? What are you trying to get? 3 boxes of cigarettes. I think at the time, commissary price on a box of cigarettes, it was like $5.20 a pack. So you get the whole box for like $50. I'm like, I'm not giving you 3 boxes of cigarettes for a $100 bill. That's $150. Like, them cigarettes are worth gold too. So we agreed on a number, and I was like, yeah, I got you. You know what I mean? Let me gather some more smokes up, and I got you. Well, T sees me and Bubba talking, and he ain't stupid. Bubba don't ever come over to my cell no more. But I hustle as well, so I guess T put 2 and 2 together that maybe I might want to go holler at this dude about this money. So T comes down to my cell, and he was like, was Bubba just down here trying to swap off a $100 bill? I said, what you talk about, man? He was like, come on, man, don't do that. He was like, you can't, you know what I mean? Like, first of all, I know you're not going to protect this dude that you don't even rock with like that. Second of all, he's a thief. And this shit belongs to me, and he stole it from me. I need you to tell me, did Bubba just come down here with a $100 bill? And if so, I'll take it from there. I won't say nothing. I'll keep it between me and you. I said, nah, man. I said, look, I'm not getting involved in all this, bro. But nah, I don't know nothing about no $100 bill, man. The man just came over, he was talking about cigarettes. He was like, all right, still heated. I know he's going to end up beating the shit out of Bubba. I know he's going to hurt Bubba real bad. Like I said, T was a big-ass dude. He wasn't the bully type, but he wasn't nobody you wanted to mess with either, right? Bubba brings the money over to my cell. I holler at him a little bit later. We're walking the yard, walking with my homeboys. I see him standing over there talking to somebody, selling some CDs and stuff. So I walk up on him like, yo, Bubba, let me holler at you. So he comes over to where I'm at. I said, come on, let's chop it up for a minute, man. Let's walk. I tell my homeboys, and then I'll catch up with Joe. Let me talk with him real quick. So we get to walking, and I said, hey, when we go back inside, I got the cigarettes you wanted. I got that, you know what I mean, in the cell. Just bring the money over, and I got you. He was like, all right. We go inside the building. He goes straight to his cell. Like I said, Bubba chain smoked cigarettes. He comes over to my cell, and I've got the cigarettes sitting on the counter. I said, all right, let me see the money. Let me make sure, like, you know what I mean, you really got money. He was like, come on, man, you know I got the money, man. Just hand me the cigarettes. I said, let me see the money. So he hands me the money. When he hands me the money, I tell him pretty much, you dead. I'm not giving you nothing, man. What? I'm not giving you nothing, man. You stole this from that man up there. And at the moment I do business with you and I accept this $100 bill, I've now put myself in a world of shit. This man is about to crack your skull wide open. He's going to hurt you real bad. And your best option is to walk off, leaving me with this money in my hands, and let me go return it to who it belongs to before you end up med-flighted up off here, or you end up over the infirmary with your bones broken and a knife hanging out the back of your neck, man. Go ahead, Bubba, roll out, man. I'm not giving you no cigarettes. I'm keeping the money, and I'm giving it to who it belongs to, right? Bubba gets in his feelings. I tell him, look, if you got a problem, man, he wasn't really the fighter type. I said, if you got a problem, like, you know, come in the cell, man, because we're not going to keep you making shit hot now. You want to argue. I'm not here to argue with you. Come in the cell if you got a problem. If not, I'm taking the shit back to T. I'm going to leave your name out of it. What I'm doing, you don't understand, is saving your dumb ass from getting hurt. Some bullshit. He gets, you know, blah, blah, blah. But he's not trying to make too much of a scene because he doesn't want other people to hear. T's homeboys and them, some of them live in cells close to me. So he just takes it on the chin and walks off. Damn, he just took the money from me. I'll wait till that evening after chow, and I go up to Dude T's cell and I say, hey, I think I got something that belongs to you. And he knew what I was talking about. But he was like, oh, yeah? And I was like, yeah. So he's like, what's up then? So I reached in my pocket, pulled out the $100 bill. I gave it to him. Where'd you get this from? Doesn't matter. Now, it does matter because somebody took it. I said, look, man, I went through a lot to get it back for you just because it's the right thing to do. I don't like thieves. I don't like dudes trying to get over on people. Just take it for what it is, man. I stuck my neck out there. I did some looking around. Bubba gave it to you, didn't he? I said, look, man, we're not going to do this, man. I'm not trying to see nobody get jammed up. We got too much going on in here to be going back on lock. We just came off lock. You got your money back, man. Take it as a blessing and move on. T came down to my cell a little bit later that night, broke me off a big-ass chunk of weed, told me thank you. He was like, you're a real dude. I got nothing but love and respect for you. If you ever need anything, you let me know. So that was how me and Big T sparked up our friendship that lasted many years. Big T's still in prison, and he'll be there till the day he dies. When I tell you these are guys I could see in society, a lot of y'all aren't going to agree because of the serious nature of the crimes and the things they did. But you also have to keep in mind that a lot of these dudes, and the dudes I'm talking about in particular, they were young. Real young when this happened. When I met these guys, they had been in prison a very, very long time. T and Nate both were coming up on around, between 15 and 20 years on a life sentence. And talking to Nate, I find out that, Nate lived out Southside Richmond, Sims Avenue area, if y'all don't know Richmond. And he was messing with a girl. There's another dude that hustled. I'm going to go ahead and let y'all know that from what I've seen, there are 4 main things that make up what causes people to get in trouble or end up in these situations. Money, drugs, females, and pride. Those 4 things right there will get you in trouble every single time. In T's story, money and drugs led him to kill them 2 boys and shoot that 3rd boy. So let's get into Nate's story. Nate said that he was dating this girl out Richmond. I guess you could call it dating, more or less smashing. So they had been kicking it. He was young as well, 20, 21 years old. So everything seemed cool. He said, I was a street dude, though. I was known to play with them guns. Sell them drugs, that's what I did for a living, right? Like, I didn't have no full-time job. I was, a drug dealer. The girl was infatuated by it. He had nice cars, jewelry, pockets full of money. One night, she invites him to a party. He said, I usually wouldn't go anywhere without a gun, but, it had been real hot in Richmond at that point. There was a lot of murders. I didn't want to get caught, with a gun. I didn't have no license, so I could get pulled over and get sent away on a gun charge. He said, I didn't want that to happen, so I didn't take no gun with me. He said, I drove my car. The girl rode with me. He said, we go to this party. He said, I wouldn't be there long. He said, I was drinking before I got there. He said, I'd already drank a good amount of liquor before I got there. I had a bottle in the car and a cup I was drinking from. He said, I'm smoking blunts, throughout the day and whatnot. He said, so time we get to this party, it's 9:30, 10 o'clock at night. He said, I'm already pretty faded. He said, but even with me being drunk and high, it didn't take long for me to realize that she was also messing with another dude at the party. This dude showed up to the party. She tried to play it off, but he said him and dude had some words behind it, like, why you keep looking over here at her homeboy? You disrespecting me. And the dude said some crazy stuff out his mouth. Man, if you only knew what I be doing to her, like, you can put 2 and 2 together. So Nate says that this dude is saying this, and Nate's standing in the kitchen, and dude is standing in the hallway that comes to the kitchen, and there's some people trying to keep this fight from happening. And they said that he sees his opportunity, reaches out, hits dude in his face, punches him. Boom. Well, this dude wasn't there with a female. This dude was there with a bunch of his homeboys. So they jumped Nate right there in the kitchen, beat Nate up. Nate said, man, Nate was showing me some of the scars on his head. He was like, they beat me up pretty decent, knocked me out. Like when I came to, they had thrown me out the house party, onto the front yard. He was like, the girl wasn't nowhere around. She was inside the house with old boy. He was like, so I got in my car. Now he said, by now I've been drinking more at this party, drinking Bacardi 151, different liquors. He said, I'm super messed up. He said, I'm surprised I didn't get pulled on the way home. He said, because I remember seeing a cop, and I'm like, damn, I'm about to get a DUI. He said, I was headed home to get my guns. Goes to his house, gets his SKS assault rifle with a banana clip on it, comes back to the house, pulls up out front, said he sees people coming in and out, and they got this big bay window in the front of the house, and the curtains are open, so he can see the girl and the guy and some of the people that jumped him walking throughout the living room, making their way through the party. He said, and he just sits in his car, smoking a big-ass blunt with the assault rifle, leaned in the passenger seat and down into the floorboard. Said he's just smoking, just waiting. I asked him, I said, did you know what you were about to do? He said, not really. He said, I knew that, I had to handle the situation, but I don't think I ever planned on it going as far as it went. He said he can see that everybody in the party's starting to dap up now. They shaking hands, pounding up, whatever. So he knows the party's about to end. He said, so he goes ahead and gets the assault rifle, cocks it back, gets out of his car, stands, out in front of his car. He said, it's dark out here in front of this house. There's no light. He said he sees the front door open and people start coming out. He said, then he spots dude with his homeboys that jumped him. He said, Jay, without even thinking, I just lifted the gun up, aimed at them, and just let off. Dun, 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 dun. So I dumped a whole bunch of shots right through the front of the house, right through the front door. Police said it was like 24 shots total he let off. He said, then I got in my car and sped off, thinking nobody would know it was me. But the problem is other people had already come out, got in their cars. A car pulled up. There was a car parked behind him that saw the whole thing take place. Took down his license plates. Nate hit the boy that he was initially trying to hit through the shoulder. Didn't kill him. Killed an innocent girl and an innocent guy that were behind this guy that were coming out the party. One girl took a shot to the face. Another guy took a shot to the chest. And then the one dude that he was trying to shoot got hit. They would go arrest Nate. Nate was sent off to prison. Life without parole. Nate killed 2 innocent people that night that were not his intended targets. But being messed up like that, and especially shooting at one person that's got other people like behind him or in the house, was a dumb decision on his behalf, because people were coming out this door. I don't know what would have ever made him think. I mean, I guess he wasn't thinking because of the alcohol and stuff, that the bullets would just hit his intended target. You know what I mean? When the one bullet passed right by the dude's head, hit old girl right in the face. Another bullet passed through the side frame of the door and hit another boy that was coming up the staircase, like from this basement area that comes up to the first floor, right in his chest, knocked him back down the staircase, and the main dude takes one and survives. Nate buffs floors in the prison. He buffs over where the main guard station is. It's a job that you gotta, most likely, either be a lifer or friendly. And I've never seen Nate display any type of anger, animosity, nothing that would even lead you to believe that he was capable of such a thing. But like Nate told me when we was chopping it up one time, he said, get out there and stay away from that alcohol, man. He said, man, I can't tell you how many dudes I know that are locked up right now that don't even remember what they did because they were so drunk. He said, had I not been drinking that night, man, I'd have probably just went and got some of my homeboys when he came back and beat their asses. He was like, but because I was so drunk, the first thing I did was run home and get my gun, come back up there, open fire, and you could see the remorse in his eyes. He's like, I ended up hurting this dude really bad, and I killed 2 people that had nothing to do with anything. He said, when I went to trial, I had to sit there and listen to this girl's mother speak on how her 17-year-old daughter had to be laid to rest, closed casket, because one of my bullets had tore a hole through her face and out the back of her head. He said, then I had to hear this other young man's parents, brothers and sisters speak on how he was a good kid, had just graduated high school, had his whole life ahead of him, had younger brothers and sisters that missed him and would never see him again, and that one of my bullets had traveled through his chest, hit vital organs, and left him laying there dead instantly. See, we got to think about the things we do before we do them. The last thing you ever want to do is have on your conscience that you put somebody in the ground and it wasn't self-defense, someone in the ground that didn't deserve to be there. And aside from that, to hear a judge tell you have life. Life. Meaning you will never come home again. Your chances of laying down with a woman again have disappeared. You will never eat another steak dinner. You will not be there when your kids, if you have kids, graduate high school or make their way to kindergarten. You won't be there to see grandchildren born. You won't be there to do any of that. And you'll watch everybody you love in life on the outside world die without you having to be there. Crazy, crazy stories, man. These aren't bad dudes. These are dudes that made really bad decisions. I know a lot of y'all are going to argue that, oh no, they're bad people. And I guess that's very debatable. Based on the men I met, I couldn't even picture them doing something like that. But in all my years of experience, that's usually how it goes. Usually couldn't picture it. I'm blessed to be here today, blessed to be behind this camera. I love all y'all, appreciate all y'all for watching. And I hope that the next time one of y'all thinks about reacting to something, or jumping out the window when you get angry, or running to get a gun, you think twice about the options you have, and all the options you're going to lose the moment you do that. Life. Anyway, man, y'all know these prisons, detention centers, jails, facilities, they're all just crazier worlds inside of this already crazy world we live in. And y'all know what I'm doing. I'm just trying to keep y'all entertained. Are you not entertained? And as always, this is Jay Williams. Let's live life. To all my real ones and the awesome real ones watching, because y'all still watching me. Y'all know how we do. Salute.